Have you ever wondered if keeping stats of your golf rounds helps? Well, I've been using Arccos for more than 4 years now, and this is why I use this tracking system for every single round that I play. And before we get into the video, if you want 15% off any Arccos products that you buy, use ShopMate15 at checkout to save yourself 15%. Okay, so let me give you a quick breakdown of how Arccos works. The sensor goes into your grip. The driver club has detected that you've hit the ball. It doesn't know how far you've hit it. All it knows is that you've hit the ball. Once you get up to the ball and then you hit it with your 7-iron that has a sensor in it, it now knows that the driver went that far and that's where the ball landed. Now the same thing happens again. It doesn't know where your ball has gone after the 7-iron or how far, but then when you walk up and you hit with a putter, then it knows that that's where the 7-iron finished. That is, in a nutshell, how Arccos works. And that is why it is genius. In this video, I'm gonna show you an exact breakdown from start to finish. I'm gonna show you how to set up the app. I'm gonna show you how to put the sensors into your clubs, how to take it onto the course and show you what devices you can and can't use, and then also show you how to break down your stats and what they mean after each round. Now, I'm not a professional golfer. I'm far from that. But I use this every round, and just to know where I was failing or where my game is improving, it shows you a breakdown. And I've got a stat from every single round that I've played for however long it's been. I assume it's around 3 to 4 years. These are the older ones that I've been using, which still work. They're still exactly the same as they were when I first put them in the clubs, but now I've got the new updated Arccos Smoke. So I thought that I would record this video, break it down, show you how it works, and show you why I use it every single round. Firstly, you're gonna want to download the Arccos app. Now, I've got this on my phone. It updates itself. The technology is brilliant in these now. So there was a big update about 6 months ago, and the mapping system went from being 2D to 3D. So now you can really zoom in and see where trees are, where bunkers are. You can also see that things might be elevated or drop-offs. It's a much more detailed map than it used to be, and it's just getting better and better. The app is crucial. This is where you'll use, it's your central hub for Arccos. You play your round, you don't have to do a single thing, you just leave it and you just play your round as is. And then you come after the round, you can see a complete breakdown of that. So I'll take you to the start. Once you've picked up your Arccos sensors, you can get these online. I'm fairly certain you can get them at other retail stores. I'm fairly certain Golf Box here in Western Australia sell them, but they'll come in and they look something along the lines of this. So you'll have each sensor for all 14 clubs, and your putter sensor is separate. You'll simply take out your Arccos sensor that looks like this, and you can see that it's got the screw in where it can screw into the bottom of your club. Now, I'm just gonna start with my lobby. So this is my 58-degree high toe. On the end of every single grip, you will have a hole. Now there is some Arccos sensors that you can get that are built into grips, and you get that grip put onto your club. To put these in, you just grab the grip, you grab your sensor and just twist it in. As simple as that. Give the first bit a bit of a push just to start the thread into it, and you tighten it up, and there we go. So some people might find that to be a little bit distracting. It hangs, you know, it's the width of my little finger. It doesn't bother me at all. Now that that's on, I will never think about it again. It doesn't affect, you know, my grip. It doesn't change where I would normally grip it anyways. And that's what it looks like. That's the sensor in the bottom of the grip. Now, when you get them, as you'll see in the remainder of the box and on this one as well, there is a sticker that's over the top. So what you'll do is you simply remove the sticker from it. Is that gonna focus in on that? But you can see that there's it's the sensor that's in the club. Now, that is what will detect light, and I believe it also detects vibration or motion. Once again, I probably should have done some research on this. This is just my experience with Arccos. This isn't some sort of video that I've agreed to do for them or anything whatsoever. It's just, I love the product and I have a fair few people ask me about it. So I thought I would explain how I use it and why I use it. So that's the sensor in the grip. Done and dusted. Now it comes to setting up the sensor on your app. So you'll go through and you can see all my clubs are still listed with the old sensors. So once I swap them over, they'll readjust. But you go up to the top, you'll go manage clubs, you'll add a new club, and you'll simply use the QR code at the bottom of the club, manually select clubs to pair, use a QR code to select clubs. So you'll have two options. In the ping, they have a QR code on the club. Otherwise, you can just use the manually select. Now I'm gonna go wedges, 58 degree, and then continue with 58 degree only. And then these are the smart sensor or the smart grip sensor. And you can see on the screen recording, it wants you to put it over the top, pairing complete, and you've paired your club. Finish, done. Now I've got the 58 degree on here. It's put in a smart distance already because I've used to use the 58 with the old sensors. I deleted it from my list of clubs, which you can see on here. This shows all my smart distances, and it's obviously detected that that's the average distance that I would hit the lobby. So it's brought that back in from the existing information. So I'm gonna go ahead and change all these other ones over, and then I'm gonna take you out onto the course. Okay, before I take you onto the course, I'm just gonna let you know that when I play, I have the Arccos app on my watch. I set it up on my phone, I go start phone, and then I put my phone away and I don't look at it because I think I'm a bit of a weirdo and I don't want to know what my score is and I don't want to know if someone's messaged me, and I just avoid my phone whilst on the course. So I use my watch, and then that detects all the noise, and that's how that links up with the sensors on the clubs. You can use the phone, you can use your watch, and you can also use, this is the Link Pro. This is, I believe this is the latest one that's come out. Now I never used the original Link, which would clip onto your belt or onto your bag. It just has to be basically outside of your bag so it can detect the noise. But this is the Link Pro. It comes in its own little charging dock. That's it there. And once again, I probably should have done some research, but I don't use this one. This one just came with the kit that I'd purchased. I believe this one just sits straight in your pocket. It doesn't have to clip on anywhere. There is no clip, there's nothing. It just charges, you turn it on, and that's it. It's set and done. So that's the Link Pro. Maybe I'll do another video about that, how it works, but until that point, I just plan on using my watch. So that's the Link Pro. We're on course now. Look, so start a new round. So I'm gonna use my phone for this. You can use the Link or your watch. I normally use the watch, but just for today's sake, I'm gonna show phone. And we're actually on hole 2, so you can select which hole you'd like to start on. So let's go hole number 2. We're playing off the men's tee box round type. I'm gonna select tournament, which will remove the wind and sort of any other assists like that. You can also select the ball that you're gonna use. And that's it. You can go caddy preview, but I'm just gonna start round. And there we go. It loads up hole number 2. It knows exactly where we are, and then you can really just give it a good, hard look around, see where the big trees are, and know what you're gonna hit. Now, this is always driver, this hole. Only the big hitters will hit iron. I'm not going to. And I know that I'm gonna get it about 250 meters out, leaving me about 125. That's perfect scenario. I was gonna play a few holes, but I think it'd just get a bit boring, so I'm gonna give you just a real demonstration of what it looks like using it and why I use it as well. So, like I said, I've shown you what this hole's gonna look like. We'll wait until we see what happens when we get down there. That's all right. Just down the right-hand side, should be safe. This has actually worked out perfect. So, this is an exact scenario of where I'd use Arccos on the course. So we've got 2 bunkers at the front, and the flag is behind the bunker. I can't tell how deep it is on the green. So what I'll do is I zap the flag, and then I'll use the phone to see how deep it is on the green. Okay, so it's 154 to the flag. What I do is I pin and show exactly how far away from that is. So I find where 158 is, which it looks like it's just at the front, just covering the bunker. So that's a perfect example to show that the pin is at the front of the green. I don't want to come up short. I'm happy to go long. So 158, Wind is sort of helping, so I'm probably just gonna hit a 5-iron and happy to go long of that. That is just to the right. That's fine. But you zap that, you go 158. Oh, it could be center. You take a 6-iron, you come up way short. That's probably pin eye just on the right hand side. Bit of a slice, it's okay. Okay, so this is a third hole. It's a par 3, and this is another great example of where Arccos comes in handy. So there's the 2 bunkers on the left hand side. You can see the flag, it's a par 3, but sometimes you can't tell how deep it is on the green. And what I've done for this hole, and this is strictly not for competition, this is when you're practicing, I've turned off tournament mode. So now it's engaged wind direction and what it's playing as well. So it calculates everything for you. So as you can see, it was 138 to the flag, and it's playing about 4 meters stronger than that. So I've got to hit something around a 145 around that. Now that's how much of an advantage that is. And that is why you can't use it, because I'm like a full club out there. Also, I've been hitting draws, weirdly. I don't normally hit draws. So I'm gonna try and emphasize it and hit a big slinger into the wind. Could top this, who knows? Oh, well that's a slinger.
That is,
it's not a slice. Anyways, I still might have this same club in, but at least I didn't go in the bunkers. So after your round, you go on the app and you just hit end round, and that's it. Everything should be automatically done and dusted. You haven't had to touch a thing, but Arccos is never 100% accurate. On the occasion, it'll add an extra putt. It might select the wrong club if you've knocked the club in your bag beforehand, or you've selected the wrong club, put it back, maybe it's picked up the wrong sensor. I would say, for me personally, in my experience, it is 95% accurate every single round. On the occasion, I'll change things. It's typically putts. You'll have a practice putt, or you'll drop the putter on the ground, you'll pat down your pitch mark, and it may detect an extra putt. So I'll let that one slide with it. I have had a few people message saying they've had issues. I just haven't. I've been very lucky, and that's why I'm more than happy to promote the brand, because I've only had good experiences. But after the round, it'll give you an exact breakdown of what's happened. Last round at Kwinana Golf Club, this was last Saturday during a competition, and you can give an exact breakdown of your stats. You can set your handicap to what you want it to compare it to. Now, I played off 8, but you can change it to exactly what you want it to give you an exact breakdown of where your handicap is and where you've gained or lost strokes in comparison to the average 8 handicapper. Driving, plus, approach, negative, that's stock standard. Short game, this one was new for me because I have been working on my chipping, so to improve on my short game is great, and my putting let me down a little bit. Now, I had a 3 putt, but I also did only have 29 putts, so I was pretty happy with that. You can see the breakdown. It gives you your average drive, your longest drive, and your fairways. These are the stats that I used to write down after every round. How many fairways did I hit? Greens hit, up and downs, putts. I would write those down in my notes of my phone and break it down myself. Now, this is why this is genius, because it just does it all by itself. Then you can go into much, much more detail. So it tells you what hurt you, what helped you. It tells you exactly what those distances are, and it just breaks these numbers down. Now, this is where it starts getting a little bit too involved for me. Now, pace of play was 7 minutes because I didn't have the sensors in my clubs when I played this round, and I just manually entered it afterwards. So I have this weird skill where I can tell you every single shot I've played for probably the last 12 months, what club I used and what distance it was. I don't know why, I weirdly have this skill. If I could just put that skill into my chipping, I'd be a much better golfer, but that's that. Then you can break down into even more, you can break down into your categories. You can see where you've missed. So I'm missing on the left-hand side because now I'm hitting draws, which is crazy because it used to be that I'd miss right. So all these stats are so accurate because it's GPS located, so it knows where you were in relation to the fairway, how short you were of the green. It knows where your approach was because you can adjust the flag every green. You know that it was 10 on, 5 off the right, so you can put the flag where it was on the green. Then it knows where your approach finished because that's where your putt came from. It's a really, really good app. It's a great program. And once again, this is why I use it. So look at this approach. It tells me where my approaches were from. Fairway, rough, sand, was it off the tee? My short game, well, today was pretty good, but generally, missed greens, 0%, missed green, 9%. So the breakdown it really is incredible. If I wanted to go into more detail, I would go through this every single time. Look at that, personal best. A sand save, one sand save. That's the best I've ever done during a round. So it's nice that it even breaks that down. So the main thing I use from this is, right now, as you can see on the screen record, is the round highlights. That's once you want to go into more detail, you can, but that is just what I look at. That's what I put a screenshot up on my social media after every round, and you can see exactly where I was playing better or worse. So I find myself weirdly at night time going through my clubs and looking at my smart distances. So you can see what average you hit certain clubs. Now, the averages can change and will change, and you can remove shots from this. So I'll use my 4-iron to bump out from in the bushes because it's the lower lofted club and I know that I can make contact with it. But it will show you every single shot that you have played with this. So this is a breakdown and shows you every shot that you've played with this 4-iron for the last however long you've had the sensor in your club for. So this just keeps going and going and going. There's so many shots, but you can see all the grey ones are, let's go, the last shot I hit with it was a 4-iron, it was a bump and run. Actually, no, it wasn't. Yes, it was actually. I bumped it out because I was stuck on the 18th. I had to just bump out to get it back to the fairway. So 100-meter 4-iron, you're going to say that that's not a correct shot. So you can remove that. It automatically detects whether it was a proper 4-iron or if it was incorrectly hit. So once you click on it, it highlights green, and then that's how you can add it into your averages. Shot could not be excluded. Well, I'm going to exclude it. So that shows down your smart sensors, and then it shows, that's just a different graph. It shows you what your minimums and your maximums might be with your smart ranges. And then it also shows you a longest distance. So a 312 driver, a 314 3-wood. I can't remember where that was. That has to be somewhere windy, I'm assuming. As I showed you before in the breakdown after each round, you can go into your overall analytics. So this shows every single shot, it calculates your averages, and it shows you a complete breakdown of all your stats. It goes on forever and ever. You can keep going and going. So this is a 10-round average, but you can just select it to go way further down. I like to just work off my last 10 rounds simply because that's where I'm at. I don't need to know what I was swinging like 12 months ago. I'm just happy to know what the last 10 rounds were. So it shows your personal best, and I think you can break it down into your worsts as well. Okay, so here's some things that you're going to need to know about Arccos. The app used to chew through your watch battery very, very fast. You'd get your 18 holes, but it probably wouldn't do much more than that. Now, it almost doesn't affect my watch. Now, I've got this watch would have to be 3-ish years old, 2 or 3 years old, but there's obviously done upgrades to the app, so now it doesn't chew through my watch. With the phone, you can notice that your battery goes down quicker, but it's not enough to affect an 18-hole round of golf. You can easily start it, you'll play your 18, go to the clubhouse, have a couple of beers, and your phone still has plenty of percentage. So, but you will notice that it does drain your battery. You're running a GPS mapping system for 4 to 5 hours, however long it takes you to play your round of golf. There is a subscription that comes with Arccos. Now, my subscription only just come out recently. Okay, so the subscription per year for the app is $155. This is what it's saying on the internet. It is worth it. It's $155, and I know that sounds expensive for an app per 12 months, but it is worth it. I will pay that, and I'd pay more. I really would, because of all the reasons I just listed. I've used this for $155. When you break that down, that's not even 15 pints. that's 2 good nights at the pub, really. So I'm happy to pay the $155. Now, I know a lot of people aren't, and I know that that's a lot of money, but when you consider that a new driver is going to cost you over $1,000 and people change them out yearly, I guess it just depends where your money is worth spending. Me personally, I love it. I don't need the link. Now, obviously that costs money. I wouldn't buy the link if I didn't have the watch. And the Arccos sensors themselves. So for the Arccos Smoke, you're gonna pay $399 for the sensors. Take away 15%, which you'll get when you use Shopmate 15, and you're gonna save 60 bucks. I really think it's worth it. I completely understand that people might think that that's expensive. I can justify it. Once again, I use them every round. I use it for a breakdown. I learned very quickly that my short game's no good. You probably don't need sensors to realize that, but I think it's worth it. I really do. So if you're keen, go check them out. Go watch some other reviews. There's plenty of them on YouTube. I recommend them, and that's my thoughts. I'm gonna keep using the Arccos. I'm gonna keep pushing it because I do think it's a good brand. And that's it. Any recommendations, let me know. Cool.